Hello, movie lovers, and welcome to my best and worst of Leonardo DiCaprio. This is some video that I've been wanting to do for a while because at first and everything, I didn't really care for Leonardo DiCaprio that much. Why? Because I always felt like he was just a pretty boy. He was just going to be in romantic movies, stuff like that. He wasn't really going to do much, and that was just me thinking lightly about him. That was up until 2006, whenever the movie The Departed came out. Now, this is the movie that won me over with his performances, as well as the chemistry that he had between Jack Nicholson himself. And I felt like this whole entire movie was fantastic. It was great for a remake. That's right. The Departed was a remake of Eternal Affairs, which is actually a Chinese or Japanese movie, and it ended up getting an English. We ended up getting an English version back in '06. Martin Scorsese, sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, directed this movie, and he's actually one of my favorite directors. I felt like you can actually capture the energy that Leonardo DiCaprio had. You actually felt the suspense surrounded around this character. Is he going to be dead? Is he not going to dead? Is he going to be able to survive this whole entire movie without getting killed and everything? Is he actually going to end up coming out being the winner in this whole entire movie without Jack Nicholson capturing him? That was the whole entire suspense thing right there. And then you also have Matt Damon, who's playing the sides and everything well done with him as well. Because you have him playing the side with Jack Nicholson, where he's actually the guy who's actually giving all the information out to Jack Nicholson that he's not supposed to give out because he works for the cops. And I actually felt like that actually worked pretty well. Everything in this movie flowed very well for me, and I actually enjoyed this movie a lot. As a matter of fact, it's maybe in my top 5 Martin Scorsese movies. As a matter of fact, I might do a video just for those type of movies. But still, if you haven't seen The Departed, you're missing out on a great movie. Mark Wahlberg's in it. Alec Baldwin's in it. This is an all-star cast that was just fantastically well done and perfectly well executed to the point where you're on edge the whole entire time, and you just have that whole entire suspense going on the edge of your seat, and you're in for a ride. And not only that, but this movie was also filmed in Boston, which is also a place that I'm at, which is actually where I'm from, and it was actually good to see. It was actually good to see my home city and everything, Boston. This is actually great to see that. But I felt like that was a very good movie of his, and that's actually in my best list. Another movie that I actually want to talk about that I actually thought that was really good was, and now these movies are not even numbered, so I might end up talking about this for a while. Um, but anyways, what I also wanted to talk about is Eating Gilbert Grape. Now, this is a movie that came out in the '90s, and it starred him and Johnny Depp. Now, at this time and everything, he was just a young kid and everything. But I went back after I watched The Departed. I went back and watched him as a young kid on the screen who has cancer, who has autism, and autism is actually, it's sad. It's actually sad to see kids go through all that. And I felt sad. I felt happy whenever there were some scenes that were actually pretty funny to actually laugh at. Johnny Depp actually captures that whole entire moment very well. I mean, you can actually feel the emotion of the characters and the way that they were actually captured on the screen. And I actually felt the pain and the emotion of someone that actually had autism, and it's just sad. It's a sad issue, and I feel like this is actually a pretty good movie. If you haven't seen this movie, this is actually a movie that's on Netflix right now that you can actually check out, and I recommend it because if you're not a fan of Leonardo DiCaprio, check out The Departed, and then you can actually see a little bit of transformation that even at a young age that he was trying to engage in at that time, being a young kid. And he actually knocked that out of the park. If not, he should have gotten an Academy Award way back when he was younger. That was just my own personal opinion. But everybody outshines somebody else at the Academy Awards, and it's just a hard game to actually win an Academy Award. Okay, so number 3 on the list of good movies that I love to watch over and over again as a Leonardo DiCaprio fan. Yeah, I'm a Leonardo DiCaprio fan. I'm a guy, and I like Leonardo DiCaprio movies. Is um, Inception is actually directed by Christopher Nolan, who also did the Dark Knight trilogy. It came out in 2010. And this movie is like a dream within a dream within another dream. And I also like, I love what not Johnny Depp. I love what Leonardo DiCaprio was able to do with that character and everything else. And like I said in the Departed video, you can actually feel the suspense that's surrounding this character. You're actually wondering what's going to happen to all these characters. And then it makes you wonder at the ending of this movie too, because you don't know how this movie's going to end. You don't know if it's going to be a dream within a dream within another dream within another dream. But still, it was actually a pretty good movie. It was actually very original and everything. For people that says all Hollywood is doing is making remakes, there's a lot of good originality out there, and I might actually do a video on that. But still, overall, Christopher Nolan did a very good job with this film, even though it might have that one flaw of the ending itself. But other than that, I mean, look at the effects that this movie had. Look at the tone. Look at everything about this movie and everything too. And Leonardo DiCaprio, straight out of the gate, just knocks it out of the park through the whole entire movie and stuff. So that's another movie that I would actually recommend that you check out. Came out in 2010. You'll be able to pick it up on Blu-ray now, and DVD and all those other whatever format that you like. But that's actually one of the movies that I would actually check out too. Another one that I want to actually talk about is Revolution. No, that's gonna be on the bad one. Blood Diamond was really good because you actually have this guy who's in um, who's in Southern Africa looking for some blood diamonds and stuff like that, and it's very suspenseful. Leonardo DiCaprio did a very good job as far as that goes, and the suspense is right there too. The action is there. Everything that you want out of an action movie and drama and everything else to go along with it is just fantastically well written and perfectly well done. Into one little bow to where one little present to where you say, here you go. It's right there on a silver mantle. And I mean, I was just eating this thing up whenever it first came out. And he did a very good job with that. And, you know, there's a couple of things too that I want to get at. I mean, yeah, he hadn't won an award during those times that I'm talking about these movies, but I'm gonna get to the movie that won him the Academy Award in a few minutes. But I just want to talk about a couple of movies out of his filmography to where I can actually say I enjoyed his work as far as that goes. I'm also going to talk about The Aviator, which is he plays Howard Hughes, which is also the guy um, who ended up inventing a lot of stuff for the airlines and stuff like that. And I have to say, he did a very phenomenal job with that as well, because he had to actually act his ass off. Excuse my French, but he had to act his butt off just to do what he did. He had to go through different types of style of things that Howard Hughes went through whole different types of things that he did, and it's just a phenomenal movie. I actually felt sad for Howard Hughes by the time that you reach the ending, and it's actually a fantastic, well-written movie. And you know, it's just one of those movies that, you know, it's okay to see it the first time, but you don't want to go back for the second time because it's just so emotional. And that's the same thing with What's Eating Gilbert Grape, was because, you know, there's just so much emotional stuff that Johnny Depp had to go through. Not Johnny Depp, but Leonardo DiCaprio had to go through in this movie, and it just leaves you powerless through this whole entire deal. Um, I'm also going to say another movie that I actually had a great time watching was Catch Me If You Can. This was a fun movie. It was directed by Steven Spielberg. It came out in 2003. I've actually watched this movie repeatedly over and over again because it's just such a fun movie. I mean, you have Tom Hanks that's trying to capture this one guy who's pretending to be different people. He changes his name to Barry Allen the Flash just to get money, and writing out checks and making it spread through everywhere. And it's just, and you're wondering if this guy's ever going to get caught. That's the suspense. That's the whole entire deal about why you want to watch this movie, because you're wondering the whole entire time, is this guy going to get caught or not? And great job as acting in this movie too. Christopher Walken's in it. It's got a great cast, and like I said, I mean, this is a movie that will keep you entertained through the whole entire thing. But another thing too, this character does is he winds up pretending to be a doctor. He winds up pretending to be a lawyer. He winds up pretending to be a pilot. He winds up becoming rich, and then before you know, by the time the FBI gets to him, he disappears again. So you're wondering when is Tom Hanks going to catch up with him? That's the whole entire deal. I love this movie. I can watch this movie all day long. I know some people may not like it, but hey, it's cool if you didn't like this movie and it didn't work for you. I can understand maybe why you might not like it. But for me personally, I had a lot of fun with this movie when it came out, and also whenever I'm watching it. I'm also going to get to the fact with Gangs of New York. Now, this movie right here was one of my favorites and everything. And remember this. I'm watching a couple of these movies right after I watched The Departed. And Gangs of New York, man, was that just a dang good movie. I mean, you have the tone, you have the violence, you have the drama, you have the suspense, and you feel all of that with Leonardo DiCaprio in the middle of this whole entire movie. And I just have to tell you, you guys just need to go on and check this out too, because you're gonna be just mind blown with the way that he performed in this movie, and you just can't get enough of that. I'm also going to end up talking about another movie that he did, which was Man in the Iron Mask. That was actually a pretty good movie. That came out in like '97, and I've actually watched that in the theater when I was a kid, because at that time and everything, I found something kind of interesting about it. This is what I found interesting. You have two brothers. Two brothers are totally different from each other. They're both twins. They got separated at birth, and they don't know about each other. Well, one of them does, and he throws him in a dungeon with an iron mask on, and treats him as an outcast. It's like a bastard child, like kind of like what Jon Snow is, and everything. But man, the way Leonardo DiCaprio was able to capture both characters was just phenomenal. He did a very good job in that movie, because he made you hate that character. Then he made you love this other character, and you're rooting for that other character to take the throne the whole entire time. And it's just a phenomenal movie. I mean, it was, like I said, I mean, this movie was fantastic. I enjoyed it as a kid, and I still enjoy it today and everything. During that time too, people were thrown in dungeons. It was just a different time during that time, and I actually enjoy medieval kind of stuff and things like that. And also like the Three Musketeers, so it intrigued me to actually go out and watch this movie when I was little. I'm also going to talk about Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet was one of those movies that was totally different from any other Shakespeare movie or anything else, because instead of swords, they're fighting with guns, and they're also speaking in the dialogue of the whole entire play. And this is different. This is totally different. And Romeo is played by Leonardo DiCaprio. You also have the brother that's played by the other guy, the sister's brother. Let me rephrase that. You have Leonardo DiCaprio, who falls in love with Juliet, and Juliet's brother is actually played by John Leguizamo. And man, when these characters clash, they clash, and the dialogue is right there. Your suspense all the way through, and the dialogue itself fits in with the guns and the gunplay and everything else, and the drama surrounding this movie is just fantastic. I can't tell you how many times I've watched this in theater class, and also whenever it's also on HBO and stuff like that. I actually enjoy this movie a lot. So those are the couple of movies that I've actually found to enjoy and that I love. And I also love, this is my number one. Actually, I'm going to go to two more. Then after that, I'm going to get into the worst. Okay. The other one is going to be The Remnant. The Remnant was such an awesome survival revenge type movie set in the pioneer days. And this is also the director who directed Birdman, who won the Best Picture award. This is also the movie that won Leonardo DiCaprio the Oscar. The Oscar that everybody's been wanting him to win, because he's a phenomenal actor, and he finally got it. He actually had to eat a damn rabbit just to get an award and everything. That's just fantastic. And then he also had to go in and strip himself naked to keep himself warm inside of a horse, getting a horse out and everything. That was perfectly well executed. Then he gets attacked by a bear. He gets attacked by a bear in this movie. and you're on the edge of your seat wondering if this character is even going to survive the winter or anything like that, if he's actually going to get the revenge that he wants against Tom Hardy for killing his son. And then he's going through the whole entire forest and everything. This movie is just phenomenal. I love the direction in this movie too, because they're using actual lighting, and I actually said that in my review. But man, it was just a powerful movie. It makes you feel like that you're right there with the characters. You're right in line with them, right in sync with them. Everything about this movie is fantastic. Even though I know some people that found it kind of boring, I found it fantastically well done and perfectly well executed. Now, I'm actually going to talk about The Wolf of Wall Street. I felt like The Wolf of Wall Street was really good, which is also another Martin Scorsese movie, which also didn't win him the Academy Award. But still, what he had to do with the chemistry between Jonah Hill and everything else was just fantastically well done. And you're also wondering if this guy's ever going to get caught as well, just like Catch Me If You Can. And he's just a smartass. He thinks he knows it all. He knows he's just rich and snobby and very powerful, manipulative, and everything. And you just want this little scumbag to actually get caught. And it's just hilarious. And they kind of made it into like a dark comedy, if you will. And I thought it was very well done, but it just got a lot of flack. And that's also another reason, too, because of that, it didn't win him the Academy Award, because there's a lot of stuff that was surrounding it, and therefore that's why he didn't win the Academy Award. But now I'm going to get into a couple of the stinkers here that I didn't really care for. Number one, it was Shutter Island. I just didn't care for Shutter Island. I was able to predict the whole entire movie just by watching the trailer, and then once I watched the whole movie, I was like, yep, I saw the whole, pretty much, that's what it was. And there was no layer to the character, in my honest opinion. To me, that was kind of Martin Scorsese's worst movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, but that's just my own personal opinion on it. It's subjective. But I just didn't care for it in that kind of way, and I don't think that it was that great of a movie. That's just my opinion, though. But may work for you, may not work for me. But still, I didn't like it. It was not my cup of tea. I tried watching it twice, again, just to try and see later on if I was going to enjoy it, because I don't like poo-pooing on a movie or anything like that. I like giving movies a second chance. But for me personally, nothing was there for me. It just felt flat because I was able to predict the whole entire movie in the trailer. So that was that movie. Another movie that I'm going to have to say is Titanic. 3-hour-long movie about a ship that sinks. But I have to say, amazing visuals by James Cameron. It was a very good script for what they did with the first half of the movie and stuff like that. It's just the ship took too long for it actually to sink and stuff like that. And it's supposed to glue you into the suspense of, will Jack and Rose ever survive? And spoiler alert, Jack dies, he drowns, Rose survives. It wasn't that great of a movie. The end of story. I'm also going to have to put down The Beach was also another movie that I felt kind of flat. That was a movie that he was still trying. Basically, this was during the time too that he was actually trying to, basically maybe a year after Titanic, and it just wasn't that great of a movie. I just felt like something was missing with that, and I just didn't really feel like the story flowed that well. Then I'm also going to get into, I know it seems like I'm just bashing some of these films, and it's not something that I want to actually bash, but Revolutionary Road. Now, if you really think about this in a funny aspect here, if you think like Jack and Rose, this is like a what-if story of what would happen if Jack survived from the Titanic, and what would happen if Rose was with him and got married. This movie is so depressing. It just felt flat. There was nothing there for the characters or anything like that. I just didn't care about the characters at all. I felt bored to death watching this movie, and I was hoping this movie was going to be good. Instead, I wound up falling asleep because I just didn't care for this movie. But, like I said, I mean, this movie to me was one of those movies that there was no layers to the characters. There was no direction on where they were going. But overall, those were just the only movies that I felt like that, in my honest opinion, weren't that great. But the good outweighs the bad, in my honest opinion. And I felt like Leonardo DiCaprio is a great actor, of course, because he won the Oscar. I can't wait to see what else he's going to do later on, because I have a feeling that has some other stuff lined up soon. Right now, he's just taking it easy, enjoying his Oscar, and trying to see what's next on his mantle that he's going to actually do. So, with that being said, tell me what you guys think. What's your best and worst of Leonardo DiCaprio? Tell me what you guys think below. Also, give me the thumbs up if you like this video. If you want to share this video, share it with everybody else that's actually a film reviewer or whatever. And because we're all film fans here, and we should actually be able to enjoy whatever else we do. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to be doing a review on Don't Breathe. And until next time, bye bye.